This is the first pour on Rogers Street, which is the part of the Mulberry-Rogers project.
Tell us about that a little bit. You got some grant funds to do that.
Yes, the USDA granted us $275,000 on a $350,000 project to put new water lines, new sewer lines, and new concrete streets on both Rogers and Mulberry.
How were they selected? I mean, why were they chosen by USDA, or did the city make a case for it? Or?
We did make a case for it, and the case is based on the income levels of the residents. You have to be in low to moderate income area to get it, and this was a great place for it.
It seems like these streets are, I know we've been on them a lot more than we normally would after the new city hall. Their prominence to new city hall seems to make them, more valuable, I guess, to the city.
Well, yeah, they're very, very visible, and it just seemed like the logical place to put the money.
Now, you mentioned they're going to get the works here, right? Of course, you don't do any streets anymore without taking care of your utilities, too.
The water and sewer we've already done on both Rogers and Mulberry, and of course, Mulberry already has the new concrete street, and all that remains is new concrete on Rogers Street.
I believe the sewer is doing something pretty dramatic to help the residents around here, I believe.
Are you talking about storm drainage?
Yeah.
Yes. So the storm drainage presently crosses under these homes over my left shoulder, and not immediately, but in time it will be rerouted to drain between Mulberry and Rogers Streets up above ground. And we've put in some of the plumbing, if you will, to make that possible. In the future. We didn't want to put it in the street and then have to dig it up later and put it in a new drainage line, so we just went ahead and did that while we were here.
That'll probably help the creek around Easy Street?
And this will give us a little extra area to store water. People don't typically think of a creek as a storage area, but the way this will be designed, it'll be a longer length, and we'll have ability to actually store more water here as well. So it'll help.
You never know what the weather's going to do, but what do you think? Maybe a 1 month project here at Rogers?
Oh yeah. Well, remember I promised that we'll be done in a month, and we'll be back on potholes in September, and that is the plan. And judging by what I'm seeing, I think we'll probably make it.
Over 1,000 potholes so far?
Almost 1,100, and that's 56%.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, that floored me.
Yeah, it floored me too.
Is there any sidewalk for this, or it looks like these yards are just right up onto the street?
No, there isn't any sidewalk as a part of the project. I anticipate that in the future, when we do the rest of the drainage, we'll end up with sidewalk across the street from these homes behind me, but not in their front yards. There's just not any yard left there, really.
An opportunity, I guess you never know about government, but an opportunity maybe for more of these USDA grants?
Yeah, they come around. They're hard to get, and we compete with them whenever they come around, or we compete for them whenever they come around, and we'll continue to do it. And when we get lucky, we'll do another project somewhere else.
Truss heading across the street. What's that all about?
That's called a mechanical screed, and the first stage of the pouring process after they dump the concrete on the ground is to level it off fairly smooth, and that begins the whole finishing process. And we're using a mechanical screed to avoid the problems that we have on Houston Street. Houston Street's a bit uneven. I'm sure everybody has noticed, and that's because it was hand screeded in order to form a crown in it. And we bought a mechanical screed that will form a crown if we choose to make it do that, or it'll pour it flat either way. And this gets us a nice even surface to start with. So if you'll notice driving down Mulberry, it's much more even than Houston Street.
Is that expensive piece of equipment?
It was surprisingly inexpensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it does provide a service. Anybody that's been on Houston notices. I remember right after it was finished, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was a little bumpier than I expected.
It is, and we could spend an extra $100,000 to grind off the high spots, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Well, we learn from our mistakes and move ahead.
And it's far better than it was at its worst shape.
It is, and may get a little better over time, but I wouldn't expect much improvement. But on Mulberry and Rogers, it's a world of difference.
I understand these guys get a pretty early start here in August in the sunshine.
Well, they have to. Number one, it's just the working conditions. Pouring concrete is extraordinarily tough work, and you'd rather do it in wee hours of the morning than during the day. And then there's a practical issue of how quickly the concrete cures. The warmer it is, the quicker it cures, and the harder it is to work. So if they start early, they've got some time to work it and get it how they want it before it really sets up. So I believe they started this morning around 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that'd be awfully dark, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was dark, and they rented a light set to illuminate the site while they were working, and I think it probably paid off.